The one thing when I look at masterminds and the experience that I've had when people have approached me in the past is I didn't feel the connect, and I felt like they just wanted my money so I can show up, and I'm not about that. I know that's everywhere. And so I haven't felt or I haven't found the right group in that sense.
I definitely think there are a lot of groups out there that you could join that maybe aren't the right fit. And I would say to people that love the idea and love the concept, if there isn't a group that you think fits you, go create your own. Treading water is the same as drowning to people like you and me. You better start swimming. Welcome to I'm the One podcast. I'm your host, Robb Green. Hey, Casey, what's happening, Eddie?
You know, just living life.
I love it, man.
How about you?
Dude, life's good, buddy.
Yeah.
Living the dream life.
There you go. As it always should be, every day.
Trying to make the best I can every day. Have fun.
There you go. So I have, you talk about masterminds a lot, and I know you have one that we've talked about before.
Yeah.
Can you just explain to me a little bit more about masterminds? Because I'm not in one. And
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, yeah. Why should I be in one? And what's the benefit? And why should, the people that are listening to this, would they get anything out of it, and why, and how does it work?
Yeah. So the concept, as I understand it, I first read about in Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Mm-hmm. Book sold a couple million copies, I believe. And the mastermind concept has been around forever. And that book was written in the 30s, if I remember correctly. And so it's been around forever, but hundreds and hundreds of years. Back in the Renaissance, Italian painters and sculptors would get together at a coffee shop or a cafe and talk about what they were doing, different techniques, how they were using painting. And again, I know nothing about painting, so I'm probably just talking out of my butt here, but they would talk about different styles that they would use to paint and to sculpt and things like that, right? They were sharing best practices. So this is a concept that's been around forever of finding like-minded people to share what's working and what's not working with you, for you. And then Napoleon Hill called it masterminding in his book. And that's where that concept comes from as far as I know. And so
he trademarked it.
Yeah, he TM'd that bad boy. Yeah. So a few years ago, 6-7 years ago, I met a guy named Pablo at an event. Escobar, yeah. We were smuggling drugs from Colombia to the U.S.
Excellent. Good business model.
Yeah, it's a great model. We were in Mexico, but I happened to be in Mexico when I met him. But I met this guy at an event, paid $10,000, I think, to attend an event. And he said, we were at dinner the first night. He's like, hey, what are we here for? Why are we here? And we all paid this guy $10,000 to put us all in a room. Essentially is what happened.
How many people were there?
I think they did like 20 people, and they did for 4 days, and they did another 20 people for 4 days.
Wow, so he's making $500,000?
Yeah, made great money, and just putting people in seats. And then he made everybody present. So he wasn't even delivering much value.
Oh, wow. Look at him.
Yeah, genius idea.
Dude, right?
So this guy's name is Jason. Super smart idea. Jason Fladlien. Really good idea. So Bob was like, hey, what the heck are we paying for? I go, well, honestly, we're paying to meet other like-minded people. So I became friends with him. We talked to him. A few months later. He's like, hey, what about renting a house and doing this? I'm like, I'm in. I'll help in any way I can. I'd love to help you do this.
This is the guy that you just met there?
Yep.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, I want to do this concept. I want to, and I said, great, I'm in. I'll help in any way I can. I'll do this with you. Let's do it together. So co-founded a mastermind with him, invited, I think, 24 people to the first one. I think he just invited everybody he knew. It was in the space. It was e-commerce oriented, Amazon only. And it became readily apparent to the first one that some people weren't good fits.
Sure.
And then some were great fits. And so the idea is everybody had to give value, and we called it No BS because the idea is that most of the masterminds you go to, it's expensive. And it could be $25,000 a year. Okay, it could be a couple meetings, $25,000. Somebody makes money off that.
Right.
Well, the problem is as you make more and more money, what happens is people just give the money and they go and they show up and they expect to just receive. And that creates a diminishing returns in a mastermind. Mm-hmm. And I had been in one for a couple of meetings prior to that, and that was my experience. And so when we started that, the idea was nobody made money off of it. So there's no profit. And we get a couple houses, we get a chef, we get catered food, we get an assistant to help out with whatever, and then everybody has to add value. And then a couple years later, we added a voting component. So everybody voted on, how they thought, forced ranking of how everybody they thought. And then you get people at the bottom, and some people get sad, and then some people at the top. And, there's the whole drama that comes along with that. But the idea is that it forces everybody to bring their value.
Their A game.
Their A game. You're forced to, no matter how much money you got. If you want to be a part of the mastermind, bring your A game. So over the years, it's evolved, and I've been doing it for 6 years now. We do 3 times a year. We've standardized here. We do it in Scottsdale, Arizona. We've done them all over the world, but we do them here in Scottsdale. A few of us live here in Arizona, so it's easy flights for people on the West Coast. And same assistant, same food provider, rent a couple houses, usually right across the street from each other or next to each other. And then everybody has to deliver value, and then they receive value in return. So they might have problems with their business that the group can help them with. We've got 11 core members, and then we usually have 3 or 4 guests that come to each event. And maybe it's somebody who's had experience in a certain aspect of the business that we don't have expertise in, right?
So when you say added value, give me an example.
Oh, let's see. What the heck did I present on last time? We just did one in September. It could be a new tactic or a strategy around ads. Let's say it's ads. So Amazon has an ads platform, and maybe somebody has learned something new in how that they're running and managing their ads to perform better, to either save them money or grow their revenue.
Okay.
Right? That's an easy example.
Because you guys are all in the same space. So you guys are all doing Amazon e-commerce type stuff.
Yeah, and not just Amazon. I mean, a bunch of guys, a bunch of people do retail. Shopify is a big component for quite a few brands. Yeah. So it's not just Amazon, but it's e-commerce in general.
So you're adding value as far as tips on what you're doing right and what you're finding and things.
And things we've done wrong too. That's probably more valuable. Hey, we tried this.
Yeah.
It didn't work. It cost us $20,000.
Yeah.
Don't do this. That can be just as helpful from a time experience, 100%. Right? We're actually having a call tomorrow as a group to talk about TikTok Shops, which is a new opportunity, a new channel for most of us, I'd say. And so we're just going to share best practices around that. And so we'll do monthly calls and stay up to date on what's happening in our industry, right?
Yeah.
But the whole idea of Mastermind has probably been one of the best decisions I've ever made, because it puts you in a group of people that are like-minded. Culture's first. Second is value that can be added, and you become, these people are friends now. They're close friends. Yeah. You're invested in their success along with your own. And I like helping people. So it's like, how can I help this person be more successful? And everybody has that same mentality. So when you go up there, and there's 2 parts usually we do. One where you're giving direct value to everybody else, and one where you ask for value, like a board of directors. And that's extremely valuable. You've got a board of people that know you and your business, can give you feedback. Like, hey, I'm at this crossroads. Yeah. Should I do this, or should I go down path A or path B?
That's huge.
Hugely valuable, right? And you can't hire people like this to do it. They're just not available, right? So adding that value, and then you get new guests. Again, you get some fresh blood in there every once in a while. There are new people. One guy comes once a year. He comes to 1 out of every 3 events because he's a great guest, right? But he doesn't want to be fully involved all the time.
Sure.
Or it's not the right fit for him to be fully involved. So
guest starring.
And so we bring in a great people. The last one, we had amazing guests that had some really great experiences that we didn't have in the group. So that just adds value and continually learning. I think I'm in strategic coach, which is all different industries. And I don't know many people that are in masterminds. And it's shocking to me, because it's not, again, the concept's been around forever. It's been named for 90 years since the book was written. And so many people it's a foreign concept to them. So
foreign, or they're just not into it?
So many people have never even heard of the concept.
Really?
I say, oh yeah, I'm in a mastermind. They go, what's that? All the time.
Okay.
So all the time people aren't familiar with the concept. And then even the people that are familiar with the concept don't do it.
Right.
Like, that's been one of the best ways. I was relatively new to e-commerce back then, and especially on Amazon. And that was a great way for me to meet like-minded people. So if there is an industry that you're in, it doesn't matter what you're, plumbers.
Yeah.
Like, why can't you have 10 guys that own, or women that own plumbing companies across the United States, get together in one location and share best practices?
Yeah.
I mean, you're all running similar businesses,
and
right?
Maybe they do.
Maybe they do. Most of the guys I talk to don't.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll just tell you my little take on and why I'm not in one. Well, there's probably a few reasons, but the one thing when I look at masterminds and the experience that I've had when people have approached me in the past is I didn't feel the connect, and I felt like they just wanted my money so I can show up. And I'm not about that. I know that's everywhere. And so I just haven't, I guess I haven't felt, or I haven't found the right group in that sense.
I definitely think there are a lot of groups out there that you could join that maybe aren't the right fit. And I would say to people that love the idea and love the concept, if there isn't a group that you think fits you, go create your own. That's the number. Create it the way you want it to be. It doesn't have to be a make money. I actually think that's the best decision that was made, was to not make profit off of it.
Yeah.
I mean, again, people charge a lot of money. We could make a lot of money on it. We have a rotating board of directors, and we talk about how the direction of it. It's really a republic. I don't say democracy, but it's more of a republic. We've got a few people on the board of directors that lead the way and change the way we're going to present. And we've done this so many times now. We've iterated and made it better.
Right.
And you get new perspectives on it. We're always trying to improve it and make it better. And can we get more and more? And as we evolve as entrepreneurs, it was way more tactical in the beginning.
Okay.
And now it's more about hiring and strategy.
As you guys have grown.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we've all kind of grown with it.
Yeah.
So having a nice mix of people in different stages of that evolution is really valuable. But I come back to culture as such an important thing. You've got to have the right people that are willing to share. You can't have somebody in the group that's just like, oh, I'm not going to tell you anything about my brand. I don't know tell you how I do anything because I'm so scared, right? It's the abundance mindset versus the scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
You know, some people just are not cut out for that. They only want to share a few things, and they want to keep all this stuff to themselves. That's not a good fit for it, right? For us at least. For our group, it's not.
Yeah, that's not a growth mindset. That's not good. For
that
that person in that
scared.
business anyway. Yeah.
They're so scared about things, and they'd find that I think if you shared more, I have not found it to be the case that the more I share, let me rephrase. I have found it to be the case the more I share, the more I grow.
Sure. It sounds like you're in an amazing fit.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate to build the group we have.
Yeah.
And it's changed, just to be clear. It was 24. People left. We've asked people not to come back because they weren't a good fit. We had a group of people that couldn't follow directions and, submit presentations on time and things like that. Like they just, weren't dedicated. It didn't matter enough to them, right? Or they sold their business and went a different direction.
Right.
Like we've had all different reasons. And then we've periodically added a few people, right? I think we added one person like a year and a half ago, and we added another person maybe 2-3 years ago, right?
No,
We've
I get
periodically added people to build. There's only maybe, I think, 5 or 6 core members out of the 11 that are from the beginning.
You're an OG?
I'm an OG, OG. And so it's fun to see it evolve as life changes, right?
Yeah.
And we're older. We have more. Some people have kids that didn't have kids before. My kids are older, so it's just something to kind of do life with. Do life with these kind of people.
Yeah.
And it really is the tribe of people that you want to spend time with. But from a business perspective, there's nothing better. There's nothing better than finding other like-minded people that can relate to the problems you're having.
No, I agree.
Because we're all solving the same problem.
Right.
Why not solve the same problems together?
But we all have different perspectives, though, too.
Correct.
So then when you bring those together, that's where you get the enlightenments. You're like, oh, did not see that or think about that. So, no, I get that. Again, it's just, for the listeners and for myself, just people, like, again, so what's your suggestion? Because what I'm hearing from you is like, go get a mastermind or go create one.
Start a mastermind. Sounds simple. I get it. So, that's going to actually force you to talk to people, number one. So if you're not going out and talking to people, I mean, you do need some people to meet. Like this was a catalyst for me was to go into this expensive mastermind I went to in Cabo in 2016, I think, right? And so that was an example of meeting people. Going to a trade show, meeting people, talking to your suppliers about other like-minded people that they work with. That's a good way to meet people, right? One of my suppliers that I used to produce a lot of supplements with, he's been excellent about, hey, you know this guy? This guy would get along great.
He's a connector.
You guys should talk. Yeah, I think you guys would like each other. You have complementary skills or even the same skills. You should share ideas. Yeah. So and then once you get like that core group of people, everybody knows people. Yeah. So each person now, what we do now, we had 4 guests this last time. 3 of them I had never met before. Mm-hmm. I never met these 3 people. One was from a private equity group that one of the people had sold to. One was a friend of a friend. Another was another guy that so it was this great mix of new people. Yeah. So our network kind of expands together. Yeah. And I think of it like nodes in a network. And then each node, as they connect, the whole network gets bigger. Yeah. But you need a core group. And it doesn't have to be 10 or 11 people. It could be 4 people. Right. And so you're getting together in person. Yes. But you could probably also do this via Yeah, you could do the Zoom.
Yeah.
I mean, the Zoom is definitely, I don't think it's as good.
Oh, no, it's never as good.
But if you're going to take out friction and make it easy,
Yeah.
the easiest thing to do is find 3 to 4 people or 2 to 3 people that are like-minded in your space and go to lunch.
Yeah.
That's the fastest way to do this. Schedule lunch for next week.
Yeah.
Go now. Schedule lunch, go to lunch, talk. Say, hey, I want to do more of this. What would be good for you guys? Another one. You can you can level up if you want. You can go from lunch to Zoom to in person. It just depends on what level you're at.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah, there's all different stages.
But I guess the point is you got to start, right?
You got to start. And then, and again, you don't need a lot of people because if you find the right people, those people have people.
Yeah.
And then you can grow from that and then build it. As long as somebody's willing to take charge and kind of run the show and get it started and build that, direction, like lay out a vision. It's a vision.
Yeah.
It's like building another business in a way that you've got to lay out the vision of what you want it to become. But it's in business, it's probably the best decision I've ever made.
Could you start with 2 people?
You could. It'd be a little slow, but if you had to, you start with 2 people.
I'm just trying to, always looking at
simplest
the
method.
Yeah.
Simplest method. I think you probably need 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
To really get like the cross section of ideas, because it's just we go from 2 to 3. It jumps up. We go to 4.
Yeah.
Again, it's a network effect. It's nodes on a network.
Yep.
You got a lot more interconnections.
Yeah.
And then as some person's like, oh, I need help with this. Oh, shoot, I know a guy or I know a person that does that, right? And so I think everybody should do this. If you have a business, and they have meetups sometimes. There's different websites to go to meetups. That's even like a lower level, I'd say, of like professionals.
Sure. Just like networking in general.
Just networking.
Right?
But I personally don't like the shotgun approach to networking, which is like, I'm going to go to the Chamber of Commerce and show up and hope somebody great shows up.
Right.
That feels like just, why don't I place a want ad? I mean, Jesus, I don't even know what the hell I'm going to do with that. Like, it's just, that's like hope, and hope is not a plan. I want to talk to people that are in my industry that have experience and are good.
Yeah.
That's it. That is the time I want to put. I want to invest my time and energy into that. And that's what makes it valuable for me. And then I can give value to other people, and then we all give value to each other. And I feel like you all learn and grow together. And there's something really special about that.
Sure.
And so anybody that wants to do that, I think there's so many opportunities for that. And the thing about it is, if you do it the right way and you are the leader, say you start the mastermind, it just creates tons of opportunities.
Sure.
Creates tons of opportunities for you because you now get other people hear about it and they want to join. You become the magnet for it. So we've kind of become the magnet. We get a lot of people that want to come as a guest, and we can be a little bit pickier about who we want to come as a guest or join the mastermind.
And that's starting is the hardest with anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
but then once you get going, the ball starts rolling, and then it
100%.
opens everything up, and life can change. And
we talked about this before. Hard choice is easy life, buddy.
That's right.
Yeah, this doesn't even feel like a hard choice to me. This feels like an easy choice, honestly.
Yeah.
This is an absolute no-brainer, huge ROI for your time and energy. Because there are times I'm like, oh, I got the mastermind coming up. I got to prepare a presentation, and then I got to spend a couple of days, and I got to do this. And then every time I do it, I'm like, man, boom.
You
I
come
got
back
these
on
4
fire.
things right here. These are going to change everything in how I think about things. Right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those where you're like, I just got to put the time in. I got to have the discipline, make sure I'm part of it, add value for people, and then it turns out to be great. It just stacks.
All right, man. I'm gonna go look and go
Start
try and
your
find
mastermind,
one.
buddy.
I'll either start one or I'll search first to see if I can find any locally, and then if not, I got a couple people in mind.
See, there you go. Skip don't even search. Just go schedule today.
Yeah.
2 to 3 people in your space that you're in, and schedule lunch.
All right.
That's it. Done. Once that's done, money's in the bank, buddy.
All right.
Good talking to you, man.
Always.
Take care. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with friends. Visit I'mTheOne.com and ask me anything. And as always, stay curious and never stop becoming the one.